What's your what are you doing? You are from Chesney Schools.
From Chesney Schools and Communities, that's right. I'm one of the part of the head office team there, and work on. It's a large charity, but quite a small head office team. So I run the charity's activities in parts of London. I work on training and recruitment of new tutors. I work a bit on the curriculum, and I'm the safeguarding lead as well for the charity.
What are you?
The safeguarding lead. So just making sure that our tutors are properly qualified to go into schools, have the right safeguarding checks before they go into schools, and dealing with any issues that might occasionally arise.
You teach yourself?
Sorry?
Are you teaching?
But that's how I started out by working as a tutor in 3 schools around London. I did that for about 3 years, and then these opportunities arose in the head office team to be more involved in the management of the charity, I suppose. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
How's the Chesney schools doing?
It's doing well. I mean, the last 3 years have been years of great change with the pandemic. A lot of our school lessons stopped, a lot of our community work stopped, and it's been quite a lot of work to bring that back into schools. But we're having really good growth at the moment, actually. One of the problems we've had is not being able to recruit tutors fast enough to fill the spaces in schools. Primary schools have always, in the UK, primary schools have always been interested in chess, but we're seeing more and more secondary schools involved now, so some of the older children.
But is it after school or in the programs or in the curriculum?
So in our primary schools, we do run after school clubs, but the mission of the charity, what we're really trying to do is to go and teach primary school lessons during the school day. And the reason is that way the lessons are more inclusive. We teach every child instead of just teaching those children whose parents sign them up for a chess club.
Yeah, but I have this experience. I'm a teacher myself partly, but when you go on, when it's in the curriculum, one of the problems you will face is that there is it's very heterogeneous group. Maybe you have 30 kids, some play chess, some not. So how you overcome this? Do you differentiate in a way during lessons?
It's certainly one of the challenges is if you've got some children who are extremely good at chess and some children who aren't. I suppose
or motivated or not?
Yeah, I suppose on average in the UK, if we start a typical primary school, we might have 1 or 2 children who know the rules of chess, but many of them haven't even played a board game before. So we do have to start right at the real basics. You know, here's a chessboard. This is where the white player sits. This is where the black player sits. We'll take turns to move. So we really have to start at the basics. We use, as many programs do, we use a series of mini games to teach chess. And even the more experienced players who know the rules, they still enjoy those games, so they can still participate in all of the lessons without getting bored. And then perhaps if there are children who know a lot about chess, we might try and keep them engaged in the lessons by getting them to be our helper and to teach other children. You learn a lot by teaching other people how to play a game. So there are various techniques we can use to keep those children motivated, the ones who are already quite proficient at chess.
But is it just to learn the basics of chess as a start for, let's say, kind of competitive chess, or do you also use chess in a way? I always say it can be very useful for personal development, and then as a social, emotional, cognitive, even metacognitive, reflecting on your own behavior and thinking. Do you integrate it also with the curriculum, or is it just apart, the chess program?
I think we currently teach in 250 schools around the UK, and so quite a few head teachers are giving us their curriculum time, which is quite important, or very important time, and quite carefully guarded. I think if we were only delivering chess players out of that, they wouldn't be so interested. It's the fact that by learning chess, the children pick up these other skills, be it math skills or...
Automatically, or do you have certain methods for this?
Within our curriculum, there's certain bits of maths that are just explicitly there in the curriculum. It might be basic numeracy, so it might be a very early question we ask, how many squares on the chessboard, and it's always interesting to see those children who start counting 1, 2, 3, 4, and those children who know it's 8 times 8. But as we go through the curriculum, we look at chess maths, so the value of the pieces, making sure children are always aware of whether they're ahead or behind on material. So basic numeracy, things like coordinates. We introduce coordinates very early on because it's very hard to teach chess without being able to refer to the squares by name. Basic geometry, so when we teach the night move, we might have an L-shaped piece of paper, and we might rotate that round and reflect it round, so trying to get the vocabulary of geometry into the course. Simple algorithms, so algorithms for the two rook checkmate, or algorithms for the king and rook against king checkmate. So there are quite a few sort of explicit pieces of maths in our curriculum there, that as well as the sort of wider mathematical skills that children develop, be it problem solving or logical thought. And I think it's those benefits that head teachers really see.
There's partly, I think, intrinsic in the game of chess. Sequences and all the things you mentioned, but then also your role as mediator is also to make the connection maybe with their own thinking and behavior.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I think there are those sort of social skills as well that children, you know, taking turns for a start is something new for many children when we begin teaching them, developing patience. The idea that they're in charge of their pieces, that it's their decisions that affect the outcome of the game. If you're playing football, you can blame a teammate, can't you? Or you can blame a bad bounce or a gust of wind. Whereas on the chessboard, you have to take responsibility for the fact that if you lose a game of chess, you have not played as well as your opponent. So
no, but maybe also you can ask them to solve a problem together.
Absolutely, yeah. And lots of our puzzles, I suppose we in the classroom we use lots of puzzles on the chessboard. I wouldn't describe them as normal chess puzzles because it's not sort of white following black necessarily. It might be the king working its way up the chessboard, the white king working its way up the chessboard, trying to find a route through the black pieces, just to learn the basics of how check works and how the king moves. So they're puzzles on the chessboard, and we might very well get the children to work together there. And then a child who's struggling a bit can get some help from their classmates.
But do you learn also how they can play chess at home? For example, do you tell them about the free program of Lichess?
So in primary schools we work quite closely with ChessKid, and we've handed out about 36,000 ChessKid accounts to children in our programme. So we work with Mike Klein and his team on that. And for secondary schools we have a Lichess programme where we will send out again free accounts to secondary school children.
Because you can teach them something in a lesson.
Yeah.
Maybe it's also very important to tell them what they can do at home.
I agree, and you know, although I say that the reason we're in all these schools is because the head teachers like the other benefits. You know, we're all chess players and we're really mad keen on the game and want to see more people playing chess. So yeah, we do give them those tools that they can then use outside the classroom as well.
What kind of takeaways you expect from this conference?
Well, it's my first day here, unfortunately. I couldn't make yesterday. It was I had family commitments yesterday. But I found the session we've just been in on running education courses and training courses for teachers and parents and tutors really useful, actually, because that is part of my responsibility within Chess in Schools. We find a whole mixture of people coming to our courses. There could be teachers, it could be people wanting to work for us, it could be people wanting to volunteer to run a club in a library. And so it's interesting, each of those people needs something different out of the courses. So I found that very useful, actually, to hear the different approaches from other countries.
Yeah, but okay, so you run your program, but do you have probably a site, internet site?
We do. We have a website, yes.
Yeah, but is there also material on it for people who would like to learn chess themselves, or have a small group of children at home or at their school that they can take for free information, that you help them how to find their own way?
So there wasn't anything until COVID came along, and suddenly we found all of our lessons in schools, or many of the lessons in schools, stopped. We were able to deliver some online, but we were worried about all these children who have been learning chess, who are now stuck at home without any access to any resources. So we devised a page called Chess at Home that has 30 worksheets, and the idea of these worksheets is that a parent should be able to print these off and know nothing about chess, but still be able to teach chess to their children. So they're very explanatory. They go through everything from the first principles all the way through the game. And they're based on these mini games again, so that they're designed for parents and children to work together at home. And with each worksheet we have a YouTube video with 10 YouTube videos to go with them, and for every worksheet we also have a Kahoot quiz for children to. You're familiar with Kahoot? So it's an online.
Oh,
quiz.
that this code quizzes, etc. To make it interactive.
To make it interactive, yeah.
Yeah.
So we have 30 of those, and our entire curriculum is now available online, completely
For
free of charge.
for everybody.
Anybody, there's no passwords or anything. You just log on and Chess at Home it's called on the Chess and Schools website.
Yeah. Any wishes for the future?
For the charity?
Or the chess in schools, how to develop it further? Do you still have obstacles, or do you wishes to fulfill? Or?
I mean, I think we're just very keen to expand further on our programme. We were at one stage in 340 schools around the country. We lost lots of those due to COVID. We've worked our way back up to 250. We'd certainly like to, and I think we're on target to get back to our previous total and then exceed that. I think that would be a short-term target. If schools don't want chess lessons, they can't either afford the money or afford the curriculum time. We're very keen just to get schools started, so we'll send free chess sets to any school in the country that wants them, offer free training to schools, and we're seeing lots of secondary schools take up that offer now. And we'd like, ideally, as a sort of medium-term target, to have supported 10% of all schools in the country that way. We're currently at about 6 or 7%. So yeah, I think to that extent, it's sort of more of the same, just trying to make sure we reach as many parts of the country as possible. At the moment, it's far easier for us to deliver our programme in the cities, because you need a sort of critical mass of schools. But there's still some cities that we haven't yet reached, and we're keen to train new people there. It's a question of what do you do first? Do you get the schools really excited and then not have a tutor? Or do you get the tutors there already and waiting for work, and then you can't find the schools? So it tends to be a sort of slow growth, but a steady growth as well.
But you have, okay, when you are in the curriculum, you have the whole school class. But do you also, for example, in the Netherlands, we have after school, I do it myself, and then parents pay, and then only the most interested kids attend a series of lessons.
We do, so many of our schools run after school clubs as well, and those are great for the children who are either the very keenest children, or the children who maybe learned chess from us when they were 8 or 9, and they're still at school, sort of the same school, 9 or 10 years old, and they can then come along to our chess clubs as well.
And how does it work? It's, you call it a school club?
Yes, it'd be an after-school club.
But is it 1 hour a week, or what is it?
It would typically be,
work?
yeah, there are some schools, there was one school last year where we were actually running 6 or 7 different sessions in the school, some before school, some at lunchtime, some after school. So they can really take off these things, actually. But yes, it would involve one of our tutors going in and running activities for an hour after school. And it's a fantastic way for the children who are keener, who maybe want to go on to the next step and learn competitive chess, just to get some more practice in, I suppose.
Can you describe what is happening during such an hour? They're playing only a game, or you teach them, or what's happening?
We would normally spend a bit of time. My feeling is that those lessons ought to be, those sessions, the children have already been at school for 6 or 7 hours. You know, they're not going to want to do lots of formal teaching like a normal lesson, so we do try and structure them differently. There would often be a little bit of teaching at the start, maybe 5 or 10 minutes of a new idea or of an end game or something, and then we get the children playing for the majority of that session. I've always found that it's useful to run tournaments in those sessions. So this term we tend to run something called the UK Chess Challenge, which is a nationwide tournament that starts in primary schools, and that's something that's very easy and quite cheap for the schools to sign up for. So
Is it online?
no, well, it starts in schools. It's run by teachers or by chess tutors in schools. They play 7 rounds in the spring term, and then the children that do best in that then go on to regional finals.
Is this the system Michael Bestman?
That's right. It's now run by Sarah and Alex Longson, but yes, that he sets it up. And maybe 25,000 children each year take part in that.
Yeah.
And I find that just gives the chess club a really good structure, that the first game is the serious game that's going to count towards the tournament. It allows you to sort of pair up different children who might not normally meet. And then the second game can be a friendly game for fun, I suppose.
But this chess kit, you use it also during this chess kit program. Kids learn the basics and some skills, but do you do you use this also during these hours?
Occasionally, it really depends on the school, because some schools don't have enough Chromebooks or tablets for children to use in schools. I suppose in general what we do with Chess Kid is we use it for the children to learn independently outside school. So we give them their logins. We might say to them, you know, if you want to do some chess homework this week, then look at, you know, the rook move or something and do those lessons on Chess Kid. And we have in the past organised lots of tournaments for the children to be involved in on Chess Kid as well. But in general, I think I find it just works very well to that child that can't play enough chess and hasn't got a brother or a sister or a parent to play with at home. They can play endlessly online on Chess Kid. So it's a fantastic resource, that one.
Yeah, my experience is that I work also with Chessmatic,
Right.
which is comparable in a way.
Yeah.
But I think, important is they learn some basics, but they have their own space, their own level. So I think a good advantage is they are working on their Chromebook or laptop alone or together, but they prefer. And then you can walk around to coach them a bit. But I think the advantage is when you do it in the lesson, at least they do something, but also they learn how to deal with it, and after that they will be stimulated to do it at home as well. If you say,
Right.
well, we'll do it at home, well, what to do?
Yes, yeah. We sometimes have a bit of resistance from schools as to how much time children are already spending on screens. So although we give our tutors, although tutors often have access to the whiteboard in schools and they can move pieces around digitally, some schools say to us, no, we want an old-fashioned roll-up canvas demo board for the tutors to use, just because there is a fear that children are spending so much time online and on screens that they want children to actually be playing with physical pieces in their lessons. But I agree, it's a very useful system.
Yeah, do you have anything to add to this conversation?
I don't, it's been a pleasure to talk to you, that's all.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.